education are combined. I'm your host, Leilani. Today's guest is someone I and every kid wants to talk to, Mr. Caroll Spinney. He is the original voice of Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street. Yes, this man is a legend and someone who continues to inspire kids like us all over the world. Welcome, Mr. Spinney.
Well, thank you. Nice to talk to you. Hello there. I don't talk like this all the time, but I do look a lot better with my feathers on.
Yeah, sometimes I live in a trash can, and I'm rather irritable.
I want to start with asking how your journey found you to the Sesame Street production.
Okay, well, I think it started already quite a while ago when I was only 8 years old. When I was 5, I saw a couple of puppet shows, and they were very interesting. And the first one was the 3 little kittens who had lost their mittens. And they could get, so the mother cat said, "You lost your mittens, you naughty kittens. Now you shall have no pie." Anyway, I wanted to do a puppet show from then on. I thought, seems like a wonderful thing to do is a puppet show. There was no television when I was a little boy, so we hadn't seen any puppets on television. And so when I was 8 years old, I found a puppet for sale for 5 cents at a rummage sale with yard sales at the church. And I bought it, and I already had a stuffed cloth snake my mother had made for Christmas for me, because she'd make the stuff because we didn't have much money. One radio in the house, no television, just simple things. And our house was cold. It was so cold. It was only 2 rooms were heated in the winter. All the other 7 rooms were below freezing. I didn't like that. Anyway, I started giving puppet shows. I gave the first show in our barn for 2 cents admission. And 16 people came, so I had 32 cents. And in 1942, 32 cents would take you to the movies 3 times. 9 cents to get in for each week. And the extra penny would buy 4 pieces of candy. Not like today. Anyway, so I gave the show. Everyone went away smiling, but nobody wanted their money back. So I decided I was going to be a puppeteer when I grew up. Shows. My mother wrote me 11 other shows and built me 70 puppets after that. And I started seeing some puppet shows on TV. And I said, that's what I want to do. I want to do puppets on television. And that's when I decided that I was going to really learn how to be a good puppeteer. And eventually, I joined Jim Henson's Muppets. He asked me that he was going to build a show for 2 characters for a new show called Sesame Street, which hadn't been on the air yet. And I said I was very excited because he's a fabulous puppeteer, a genius, and I had always wanted to work with him because I'd seen his work on television. And so he told me he's going to have me play Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch.
Did you ever expect that you would become the legend that you are today?
No, I don't think I expected that. I kind of thought that the kids would like what we're doing, although I had a lot to learn. At first, Big Bird looked pretty awful. I didn't know how to do it well. I couldn't see anything I was doing. The second year, they gave me a little monitor, a TV set I could strap to my chest, and I could see what Big Bird was doing, what the cameras were shooting. And so I learned to control him much better than I did the first year. And he became much more of an important character to the show at the beginning of the second year. And Oscar turned color for that time too. He was orange the first year, but then the second year I took him out of the box to perform him, and he was green. I said, "What happened? Why is he green?" I said, "Jim Henson decided he wanted to change the color." I said, "Well, he's the boss." So nobody ever wrote and said, "How come you're green?" So I made up a thing for Oscar, why are you green and you used to be orange?
Well, actually, I'm still orange. If I ever took a bath, I would wash all this green away because it's really mostly moss.
When you look back on your years of influence to us kids, can you pinpoint the moments that you knew that your actions were making a vital impact on our education?
Well, I knew right away that it was going over very well because we got very good press. The newspapers said good things about our show. But when I didn't really realize how important Big Bird had become, and Oscar too, with the children of America, and not just the children, but grown-ups liked them too. Because we encouraged grown-ups to sit with their kids and watch the shows. And that worked very well because they could discuss things they saw, and they had very good relationship with their parents while they were doing that. And and then I started hearing all kinds of reports about how many people have been helped from the show. Children with autism and problems often focus on our show. And I've got many letters from children all over the world telling me how much the show means to them and how much they've learned.
So let's get into the kids zone. So can you show us your voices of the puppets without the costumes?
Sure. Okay. Well, I look better with my feathers on, but this is what I talked. Because Big Bird is supposed to be 6 years old, and I've been doing. Do you know how long I've been doing it?
How?
45 years.
Wow.
Yes. I was a young man when I started, and now I'm not a young man anymore.
I do enjoy doing Oscar, and I got his voice. I had never done a voice like that with my puppet shows until I had Oscar. And Jim Henson wanted me to come up with a good voice. So I got in a taxi to go over and do the final audition. So I got in a taxi, and the taxi driver said, "Where to, Mac?" And he talked like this. And he didn't like the mayor we had of New York City at the time. So he had some colorful things to say about how much he does not like the mayor. And who's the man who makes things happen in a city, you know. He's a very important person. So anyway, that's how I got the voice. So I kept saying to myself, "Where to, Mac? Where to, Mac?" And I learned how to sound like Oscar. Because Oscar sounds like the old cab driver.
I know there are a lot of documentaries out there about your journey. Can you share with the viewers how we can learn more in depth about your journey? Also, can you talk about your movie, I Am Big Bird?
Sure. Well, a good way to see about my story is if you see the movie they came out a couple of months ago. It's called I Am Big Bird.
And I am Big Bird, because I've been playing him for 45 years now.
I still play him on Sesame Street. And he's going to be on the show a lot more from now on, I understand. Because particularly Oscar, because he's gotten to be very, very popular lately. And so you can see the movie, you can catch it on iTunes. It's called I Am Big Bird. Or you can get it several other places. It's not on Netflix. But you can also buy the DVD of it on Amazon. And I think it's about $20. Well, I've enjoyed talking with you.
You too.
Well, thank you.
So it was a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for being on WLTL RI.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
So guess what time it is, everyone? It's time to say toodles.
Oh, you know what? On Sesame Street, I used to end the show with saying, "Oodles and oodles of toodle oodles." But
They would
I did it
say
with my
that
puppet.
instead.
My puppet, Big Bird. My hand is in Big Bird's head, and so I would say, "Oodles and oodles of toodle oodles."
So why don't we do that instead?
Or we'll just go toodles. Can we? Okay. Toodles!